Time for the maiden voyage. Figured this was a good opportunity to break in the new van here. I'm actually still on my first tank of gas from the day that I bought it about a month ago at this point. I really just haven't been driving it very much. I still have the Element, so I've been using that to drive around a little bit, and also like it was under construction, so I had a bunch of tools and stuff in the bag just floating around. Didn't really make a lot of sense to drive around with things flying around all over the place. So I figured this was a good chance to, to try it out for the first time, to give it a nice little road trip here. The only issue is I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm heading towards Houston right now. I'm gonna be going to California in a couple of days, so it's just mileage going the wrong way. But there is a good reason for me going over to Houston. Apparently I've been saying Houston wrong my whole life. One of my friends corrected me the other day. You're supposed to say the H, apparently. The H is like very important. You have to say Houston. You have to make that H apparent. It is not a silent H there. I'm just going to keep saying it as Houston though, because I just feel like it's a lot easier to say. I'm headed to Houston because I actually have a subscriber over there who's working on a van conversion himself, and he ordered solar panels for his conversion off eBay, and eBay accidentally sent him 3 solar panels instead of 2. So he reached out to me a couple of months ago and said, hey Nate, if you're building a van and you need this solar panel, you're welcome to come pick it up and take it from me. I don't really need 3. I can only fit 2 on the roof of my van. So for me, like, that's great, because I only need 1 on the roof of my van, and it is the exact size solar panel that I was going to buy anyways. It's a 175 watt rigid solar panel. So that's exactly what I wanted to go with. That's exactly what I'll be able to fit alongside my surfboard on the rack of the NV here. So I'm going to go pick it up and hang out with him for a little bit this afternoon, and then make my way back to San Antonio. First time I've filled up with the new van. Got 26.4 miles to the gallon average on that first tank of gas. Not too shabby. So the trip to Houston ended up being a lot of fun. David, Tim, it was great meeting you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me, for taking me to dinner. We went to this Ethiopian restaurant in town, which was really good. Apparently there's a lot of really good restaurants all throughout Houston. I didn't realize that, but I guess it's kind of a food city, as you would say, but it was really delicious. And then talked about vans as well. David's actually working on the exact same van that I have, a 2018 NV200. I didn't realize what kind of van it was as I was driving over there, but then I got there and I'm like, it looks exactly the same. It's the same exact van. So he actually has 2 of these 175 watt solar panels on there, and like I said, he had an extra one that accidentally was sent to him via eBay, but yeah, he's got 2 of them on there, and then he also has a fantastic fan on the roof as well. So it was pretty neat to be able to see how he did all that, and I got some good pointers and everything for what I'm going to do to get this panel installed later today. And then yesterday I spent quite a bit of time with the guy who more than likely is going to be buying the Element from me later this afternoon. We hung out for a few hours and kind of checked everything out, and then took it on a test drive, and eventually agreed upon a number that I was willing to sell it for. And at first I thought I was going to be really sad about selling the Element, and yesterday I was driving it around a little bit, and I was a little bit emotional about it, no doubt. Looking back on all the great times that we had together, the Element has been a huge part of my life over the past 5 years, and especially over the last 3 years as I've been living out of it and traveling all around the country in it. And it's going to be something that I'm going to remember forever. I'm going to look back on the videos that I made years and years from now and say, hey, that Element was really something special. I think that I'm always going to remember this Element here as I guess what got me into this lifestyle from the very beginning. It's the core of what changed me, I guess you could say, and it's a big part of it. But it is just a thing, right? It's not the actual memories inside my head. It's not the emotions that I felt and the people that I met along the way. It's not that. It's just the thing that got me there, and it's definitely really important, no doubt, and it's something that I'm always going to be grateful for, and I'm always going to remember, and probably going to be my favorite vehicle that I have ever owned for the rest of my life. And I believe that it's definitely the best vehicle that I've ever owned. I think it's better than the brand new NV200 that I have sitting in the backyard right now. But at the same time, like I said, it's just the time has come to move on from it, and it's going to probably be a little bit emotional for me. I think I'm going to be a little bit nostalgic about it as time progresses and as it becomes more of a reality later on today. But like I said, the time for change has come, and it's time to say goodbye to this amazing vehicle. So my first project for the day is to get the solar panel mounted to the roof rack of the NV here. I'd like to get it done before heading off to the DMV and taking care of the element sale and all that. And I also want to try to be as efficient as possible with this because it is freezing outside right now. It's like 31 degrees here, and it's really not going to be too comfortable up there on the roof. Solar is mounted, it's good to go. I pretty much did the exact same thing that I did on the Element to mount the rigid panel on top of the Element. I think I made a video about it a while back. I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can check it out. But pretty simple overall, and I also got my surfboard on there. I decided to just put some pipe insulation foam around the edges so that underneath, so that when I put the surfboard on there, it doesn't ding up the surfboard or anything like that. And that's pretty much it. So the roof rack's done. Next step for the day is to do the insulation on the walls. So I'm basically just stuffing 3M Thinsulate insulation into every crevice that I can in here. It's not really the cheapest option or anything like that, but it's really good for sound deadening, and it's also very, very moisture resistant as well. So that's why I decided to go with it. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it's gonna work out, and I'm just kind of stuffing it in there like I said. And then for the window areas where the windows would be, I'm just using this leftover pink XPS insulation that I had from doing the floor, and I'm gonna put those in the window areas, and then all of it is going to be covered up in a trunk liner carpet, a gray trunk liner style carpet, and I'll get to that once I get all the insulation in place. Actually, I don't think that pink XPS insulation in the window areas is going to work out very well. As I was doing it, I realized that there was a pretty good sized gap in between the insulation and the metal frame of the wall itself, and that's probably a pretty good place for condensation to get trapped in, mold to start growing and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to figure out a different solution. I think that'll work a lot better. Obviously, you won't be able to see any of this. I know it doesn't look very good right now, but once it's all covered in the trunk liner, it'll all be hidden. You know, there's something very gratifying about when you get to the end here and then you start tucking in the trunk liner underneath the seal where the doors are and everything like that. It's really nice how it all kind of flows together. This wall is officially done. I'm gonna call it done at this point. It's not perfect or anything like that. This is the first time I've done anything like this, guys, so I'm definitely way over my head, but I just kind of got it on there. I think it looks nice from afar, but when you get up close, there's a couple of seams that are showing. You can see that the lining is a little bit bunched up and stuff like that. It's not perfect, but I think it'll do. So, I don't want to say it's done or anything like that, but I think it's moving ready. I think we're at the point where I could start transferring things into here. I've been sleeping out of it for the past 5 days or so, but I hadn't really moved everything in from my friend's house, so I want to be able to do that and get everything moved in, and I think that it is pretty much ready to go. I want to walk you guys through a little bit what I've done over the past few days and then up to and including today. I started at 7 a.m. this morning, and I have been going non-stop. It is now 5 p.m., and I'm completely exhausted, and I haven't even started cleaning up yet, so it's going to be a pretty long day for me. But what I did a couple of days ago, I decided to limo tint the rear windows. I took it to a local shop in town, Avenue Tint they're called. Definitely recommend them. They were really, really helpful. It was a lot of fun being able to meet them, and they did a really good job. And I decided to get the rear windows limo tinted. I'm sure you can see it in the shot here, just because I felt like it'd be a little bit easier than having to put curtains up every single night. I'm probably still going to get curtains just to be safe, because if you do shine a really bright light in the windows, you'll be able to see it from the other side. But from the outside at night, if you're shining a flashlight in, say a police officer or something like that was doing that, it's impossible to see me as long as I don't have any lights on inside. So I think it's going to be worth having the limo tint done. For the solar, I know a lot of you guys are going to ask about the details of my solar setup. What I'm planning to do is obviously use that 175 watt panel that I picked up earlier in this video, and then I'm just going to use the Kodiak. I am not going to run a charge controller or battery or anything like that. I have the Kodiak. It's good to go. It's been really awesome for me so far. I do still have a promo code as well if you're interested. There's a link in the description below, but the Kodiak is something that I'm just planning to go with for now, and I'll keep you guys posted on how that works out. But that is going to be the core of my solar system. I got a special adapter to be able to plug it in directly to the MC4 cables from the solar panel, and that's just what's going to work. I let it charge all day today, and it charged really quickly. I think it's going to work out really well for me once I get on the road. Today I worked on the upholstery as well, as you guys saw not too long ago in this video. I got that completely finished. I just did the rear walls, and I didn't really do anything else. I was going to do the doors maybe. I do have enough to do the doors, but I don't really have enough time. I'm running out of time. I got to get back on the road, hopefully at some point tomorrow, maybe later tomorrow or Thursday morning at the absolute latest, and I just don't really have enough time. And I also ran out of insulation. I don't have a whole lot. I did make little coverings that I might use for the window areas of the doors themselves, but otherwise I think I'm just going to see how the walls are working out for now. I also built a small little shelf nightstand type thing to go alongside the Murphy bed on the opposite side of the big shelves, and then I just covered it in that same upholstery that I was using for the walls earlier today. And that's pretty much it. I also added a paper towel rack and a little storage container thing for the kitchen area that I'm going to try to use for a few things on there, but otherwise it is pretty much as you guys have seen it. Everything is bolted in. I'm going to start moving things in at some point, hopefully tomorrow morning, and get ready to hit the road. And an update on the element sale. Unfortunately, at the last minute yesterday afternoon, that guy that was supposed to buy it ended up backing out. He kind of left me hanging. It was definitely a little bit of a bummer, but that is part of selling a vehicle. It just happens every once in a while, and I do have a couple of other folks that are interested in it, so hopefully I'll be able to get it sold at some point in the near future. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to y'all in the next video.